Hello, everyone.
Sup,
Welcome back to the Polar Express. I am the conductor, John,
the director,
the director. Uh, and as always, I got my conductor,
co-conductor. I'm the one shoveling the coal into that
yeah,
engine or however the fuck
the
that
engineer.
works. Sup?
Your name?
Oh, yeah, I have one of those. Okay, sup?
Okay, there you go. Welcome back. We are back.
It's been a hot minute.
We are back. Yes, it has been a while,
Sorry, folks.
but we are back with the Polar Express.
You know, life kinda happened.
Life kind of happened. The train came, and now the train is at the station, and we're
Before it
back.
was kinda just on the
This is
tracks
kinda just on the move.
somewhere.
Yeah. We're on the move for a
It
while.
was in a slow zone like the MBTA.
Yeah, it was the red line under
Yeah.
construction for 3 years.
I'm sorry about that.
So, but we're back. We're doing a little Christmas episode. We didn't do a Christmas episode last year, no, we talked about it.
No, we did not.
But we're gonna do this now. It's, currently December 21st, so I'm gonna rip out the edit for
See how
this one.
fast we can crank this one out.
All good things were cranked out, so that's how it works.
Sure.
So, before we hop into it, we're gonna do like a little like Christmas thank you, what we want for Christmas, and then we're gonna hop right into the movie, and then we are gonna be talking about the psychological topic,
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley,
Ooh.
which is a big descriptor of this movie.
Yeah,
Is
it's the defining quality of this movie
yeah,
is it's
the
just
music
a little bit creepy.
a little bit. So we'll talk about that, and then how it applies. But I don't really know what your research is on Uncanny Valley, so I'm curious
Well,
to
you're
see
about
how
to
it
find out.
applies. um,
There was more to it than I thought, I will say.
but we'll have to find out. We'll have to keep people on the edge of their seat. um, but what are you excited for Christmas? What are we looking forward to?
Honestly, when I went to make my Christmas list this year, I couldn't think of a damn thing I wanted. Most of the stuff I ended up asking for is for my boy Harry, our dog, um, and horseback riding stuff. I've been big into dog sports lately, so anything pertaining to the sport we do, scent work, would be pretty damn cool. Happy to say we brought home a blue ribbon and 3 red ribbons this
Yeah,
year.
very cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then for me, I want my games and movies, my rectangles.
Yeah,
So
lots of
mm,
rectangles under the
it,
tree this year.
that's the way I like it, though. So the movie shelf is gonna be filled up. So,
Sure will.
but yeah, with that out of the way, let's hop into the festive cheer of the Polar Express. Polar Express released November 10th, 2004.
Damn.
I was 3 years old, and you were four.
Yeah.
um,
Way to make me feel old.
I guess this movie is celebrating it was the 20th anniversary last year. So,
Damn.
but it was directed by Robert Zemeckis. What did Robert Zemeckis direct?
The Polar Express.
And
I don't know.
Back to the Future.
Ah,
So that's the big one. There's other ones too, but that's the bigger one.
certainly.
It stars Tom Hanks and Tom
And Tom
Hanks
Hanks.
and Tom Hanks.
And also voiced by Tom
Tom Hanks.
Hanks.
And then Josh Hutcherson did do the motion capture for the little boy.
That's so interesting.
So not the voice though. Some other kid did the voice. And Tom Hanks did the adult voice for the kid. So like the narration, the beginning and end of the movie. Shocker. What
Yeah.
a surprise.
What didn't he do?
um, and then the synopsis in the movie, in case you've never heard of or seen this movie, and in that case, why did you click on this podcast? On Christmas Eve, a young boy embarks on a magical adventure to the North Pole on the Polar Express while learning about friendship, bravery, and the spirit of Christmas.
That's how they describe this movie?
I mean, it is accurate. That's
It
right.
is. It is.
That is the correct uh descriptor of this movie. So
Yeah. Can't disagree, I guess.
yeah, that's the description of the movie. On its opening weekend, it placed 2nd behind The Incredibles.
Hmm,
So,
okay, fair enough.
I forgot to pull the box office numbers, but it made a good amount. So, I forgot to do that.
Good amount is my favorite number.
I think it made double its budget, so that's decent. I think it was like 100 something $1,000,000 budget and made 380,000,000 or something like that. Where we don't talk about the production of movies, so I don't give a shit about the exact numbers for it. The reviews were mixed on its release.
Hmm,
Some praised it for its Christmas spirit and the energy and its ties to the book. And other
there's a
people,
book?
ain't no way you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
God, bro. This whole movie's based on the book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even old enough to read when it was
You
released.
never read the Polar Express in school? Oh my
No.
god. Oh, what a bro moment. I can't believe you didn't know that. Anyways, so I didn't write any information on it because I thought everyone knew it was based on the book.
No.
All right, well, it was based on the book. So yeah, people thought it was faithful to that. And a lot of the negative reviews came into kind of what we're going to talk about today. Um, how creepy this movie is. Some quotes that I pulled. Jeff Pevier of the Toronto Star stated, "If I were a child, I'd have nightmares. Come to think of it, I did anyway." So there's one quote. And then we also have Peter Travers of Rolling Stone gave the movie a 1 out of 4 and called it a failed and lifeless experiment in which everything goes wrong. So,
That's harsh.
yeah, it is a little harsh. I wouldn't say everything goes wrong in the movie.
He learns the spirit of Christmas.
He does learn the spirit of Christmas. Maybe Peter just doesn't have the spirit of Christmas.
I think he's
Maybe he's a
Scrooge.
Scrooge.
He is the
The
Scrooge.
ghost of Polar Express Past is gonna visit him. The film was nominated in the Oscars for 3 things, all sound related.
Hmm.
Best song.
Score?
No, not score, but best
Really?
song, Believe.
Okay.
Not the Imagine Dragons one. So,
That's Believer.
best sound mixing and best sound editing. Those 2 were the nominations there. And then
Excuse me.
and the film was listed in the 2006 Guinness Book of World Records for first all digital capture film, where all
Really?
actors and parts were done in a digital capture. Yes.
Hmm.
I didn't realize this was the first one either. But the way it looks certainly makes sense. So, uh,
Yeah.
uh, and in 2024, a producer said a sequel to The Pole Express was, in quote, being worked out,
Oh,
and nothing has
no.
happened since.
Good.
No, no, like follow up to that or anything. It
You
just
know
says
what?
being worked out.
I'm on team we need to stop making unnecessary sequels, so I'm perfectly happy with that.
Well, the sequel of The Polar Express is, of course, they go to like an island with dinosaurs. So, but yeah, that's all I really have for like information on the movie. It didn't seem like anything bad happened. Was the first digital capture? Oh, it was scored by Alan Silvestri. I forgot to mention that.
So good.
Really good score.
So good. I just need to throw out there, I didn't realize as a child we rewatched this recently. I didn't realize as a child watching it what an absolute banger When Christmas Comes to Town is. Underrated
Yeah, it's a good
Christmas
song.
song. It's so good.
I think that's also like one of the only songs in the movie that actually has characters express emotions, I guess. Like it's like kind of like a musical song where people express their emotions through
Yeah.
some of it.
Well, I think it was interesting to get the perspective of a poor kid
Yeah.
on Christmas who's not used to getting really anything and trying to make sense of why doesn't Santa bring me
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And then all the other songs are like, "I'm on a train."
Choo choo.
No, but I really like that song. I mean, I like all the music in this movie. I was just saying that one has the, like, it's like a more of a character musical type
Yeah.
thing to it. I honestly don't know what fucking song "Believe" is.
I don't know. I was trying to think of that myself, but I can't.
And it's not that song,
No, it's not. Hmm.
so we don't know. We'll never know. I do know "Believer" though. How many Imagine Dragons jokes do you think I throw in here?
Too many. It's already too many.
Before we dive too deep into the score of the movie, I have 2 questions for you,
Okay.
and they're gonna be yes or no at first.
Okay.
Do you like this movie?
Yes.
Do you think it's a good movie?
Debatable. I think it has a good message.
Yeah.
I think part of its issue is it was trying to do something new,
Mhm.
and so the technology was not very well developed. Um, but I mean, the movie itself, it makes sense. It follows a good story. I can't call it a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like it too. It's very nostalgic. But
Can we talk about experiencing Christmas in New England, like growing up as an elementary schooler, real quick? I need to know. I've been wondering this for a while. Please let us know if this is a thing worldwide or just in New England. Did anyone else grow up with a Polar Express day in elementary school? It was like the day before Christmas break started for everyone. You would come in your PJs, and the teachers would come around and give everyone a tiny little cup of hot chocolate and some popcorn, and everyone would sit on the floor and watch Polar Express projected on the wall. Or was that just a New England thing? Or was that just a my elementary school thing? I've always wondered.
well, so at least for me, I spent only till like first grade up in New England, and then the rest of my elementary school was in Florida, unfortunately. So, um, we didn't have like they didn't call the day Polar Express Day. And I don't think
Lame.
we dressed up in pajamas, but we did watch Polar Express, and they would have like us do like winter arts and crafts, like make ornaments or something like that while it's in the background, and maybe have some candy and stuff. So we had like a day where it was on and we were doing Christmas things, but it wasn't. This is the Polar Express Day where like you have hot chocolate and you only watch the Polar Express. It wasn't anything like that.
Polar Express Day was lit. At the very end of the movie, they would hand everyone a bell on a ribbon to wear around your neck, and they were like, "Oh, if you believe in Santa Claus, then you can hear the bell. If you don't believe, you can't hear the bell." Everyone would ring their bell in their ear and be like, "Oh my god, I can hear it. I believe in Santa Claus."
Yeah, we didn't have that. Did anyone do any golden tickets or anything?
No, I wish. That would have been really cool, but no. I just remember it being such a big deal at my elementary school to the point where the night before Polar Express Day one year, I was violently ill, just throwing up, shitting my brains out, the whole thing. And the next morning, I wake up and it's like 9, 10 o'clock, something like that, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm late for Polar Express Day." I go up to my mom, like, "Mom, it's Polar Express Day and I'm late." And she's like, "I was letting you sleep, you were up throwing up last night." "I don't care. I'm gonna get a new pair of pajamas on, and you're gonna take me to school. I can't miss Polar Express Day." And I never missed a Polar Express Day.
Wow, incredible. When did Polar Express Day end?
5th grade,
Loser 6th grade.
right?
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, getting back to it, I like this movie, but I don't think it's necessarily good. I think it's like
Do
okay.
you think it would be a good movie if it didn't have such
Yes.
poor animation?
Yes.
Okay.
But
So you feel like that's what makes it a bad
Yeah, 'cause
movie?
it's fucking creepy.
It is creepy. I don't think it's fair to say that that's what makes it a bad movie, though.
I mean, kind of. It's not like an artistic choice for it to look like ass. It's just kind of the technology at the time. Um, but I just think there's so many other ways if the technology wasn't there to show the movie and have it be a lot better. Maybe just like a standard traditional animation
Yeah.
or something like that rather than the most because clearly the technology, I think it definitely did a lot for that, but it wasn't there yet, and it's creepy
What
because
would
of
you
it.
think if they made, like, a remastered version of the Polar Express where they redid all the characters? They used the same motion capture, but they did a better job with the new technology.
This might sound contradictory, but I think I would hate that even more because I think
I think you tie your nostalgia to how shit it looks.
yes, because of that, and also it's like a backtracking thing. It's it's like going through and saying, "Yeah, this wasn't very good, but we're gonna bring it back to life, and we're gonna do the exact same thing, but make it look okay." And it just seems like a waste of time.
Mm.
It's not.
Well, then that version wouldn't give children nightmares, at least.
That's true, but I mean, maybe it should give them
Maybe I
nightmares.
wanna have nightmares
I think there's
about
also
Tom Hanks and 5 different characters.
there's also more to it being like not good because of the way it looks. Some of the sequences I just don't like that much.
Well, like what?
I have this in my thoughts. There are so many, like, roller coaster sequences in this movie when the ticket flies out the window
Yeah, that's true.
when they're on the when they're on the train 3 times, once going up the hill, once on the ice track, and then when they're in
The
the North Pole,
caribou and
it
all
goes
that.
back down some random track, and then there's another roller coaster sequence
Oh,
about
when
them
they're in the
the yeah.
tubes.
It's like, have 2, have a couple of them. Stop with all the roller coaster
I
sequences.
feel like this movie was designed to be played in Jordan's furniture as one of those, like, 4D rides.
This would have been a killer 4D movie.
That's what I'm saying.
But unfortunately, especially back then, people were not watching this movie in 4D
In Jordan's
in
furniture.
Jordan's furniture. Uh, there's just too many things similar to that where there's sequences that just go on for too long and they don't really have any
Yeah.
payoff or anything.
Yeah, they kinda killed the bit a little too much.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks voices every single voice. Now, I like Tom Hanks, of course.
But this movie is Tom
This
Hanks,
movie is Tom Hanks. He's everything, which is kinda cool 'cause then you think, oh, that's Tom Hanks again."
and there
But
he is again.
he plays the homeless guy,
The
the narrator, the
conductor,
conductor,
the
the
dad.
dad, and Santa,
Damn.
and probably even more. Like, probably there's some side character.
Can
Maybe
we talk about the elf,
I was just about to say maybe he voices the New Yorker elf.
New Yorker elf?
Yeah, the elves are all, "Oh, put him on the good boy list."
Oh, I was talking about the one at the end.
Oh, Steven Tyler?
Yeah,
Oh my
the
goodness.
Steven
People do
Tyler
not know
elf.
this, but Steven Tyler, the lead singer of Aerosmith, is an elf in this movie, and he sings the song at the very end. I don't know what the song is.
Like, when they're about to leave the North Pole.
Yeah, when Santa's already left and the elves are having their celebration. Steven Tyler is in it. The song is actually decent, uh, but he looks scary.
Yeah. Yeah, he sure does.
uh, it's just I'll hold off on that until we get to because I want to pull specific examples for the Uncanny Valley. So let's focus on the movie before we get talk
Okay.
about more, wrapping it up though.
You'll have to
Movie does not look
excuse
good.
me for, readjusting my microphone 20,000 times because it keeps running away from
It's
my
the big one.
face. I did. It's like as screwed down as I can get it.
Mm.
Alright, anyway.
And then another note that I mentioned, something that you'd similar, something similar to what you had said. I like the story, but the message behind the movie. I also like that each character has their own moral, and none of the characters except for Billy are named. That's my
That's my name!
name.
That's where I live!
That's definitely the best sequence in the whole movie.
It's
Um,
so good. I get so excited every time they go on the conveyor belts. I'm like, "Billy's about to have his moment!"
after the last roller coaster sequence.
Mhm.
um, but aside from Billy, all the other characters are complete blank slates, which I like because you can either tie yourself to a character or somebody you may know to a character. I think it just helps make the movie more relatable
Yeah,
than just being this is Joey, and then this is Billy.
yeah. And there's a good variety in the stories that they capture, like, being a kid that is turning into a leader, like, learning how to lead other people and to be an empathetic, compassionate, kind leader.
Mhm.
Um, the main character learning how to just believe and get in the spirit and all that, and not, like, think too much into things,
Yeah,
just, like, showing up and enjoying things for what they are, and for Billy kinda realizing his worth.
Billy.
"That's
That's
my
my name.
name!"
uh, yeah, I like uh, the message at the end where the conductor's reading off all the tickets, and then the main character gets the believe one, and then Thomas is like, you don't need to tell me." I like that. It's because you fully expect him to be like, now that you've been to the North Pole, you're a true believer of the spirit
Yeah.
of Christmas.
Like, "Alright, we don't need to explain. Self-explanatory."
What are some of your thoughts on the movie aside from all the roller coaster sequences?
Just has so much nostalgia value for me because of Polar Express Day, but and honestly, I have to say I enjoy it just like I did when I was younger. I do notice some of the issues with the movie, but honestly, I don't really get that creeped out by the characters. I mean, some of their faces and some of the way that they move is really off-putting, but I don't know, it just doesn't really hit that way for me, and it's maybe because I tie so much childhood joy to their
Mhm.
creepy ass faces.
I mean, people like things that they enjoyed as a kid, um, that are terrible. For example, the Star Wars prequels. So a lot of people just have that thing where it brings them back to a simpler time, and you look forward to things as a kid like Polar Express Day. So when you watch Polar Express, you think back to when you were a kid, and I think that's reasonable. And I also appreciate that you are able to distinguish that you like it because of nostalgia versus I like it because it's peak.
It's flawless. It's a perfect movie, 5 out of 5.
And I mean, I like the movie too. I just think I'm a person that is very separate from nostalgia and the way it actually is. But I'm able to still enjoy it, but I can just take a what I would say a not a I'm trying just say a blank way
Like,
of looking at it. Yeah,
detached.
detached way of looking at it, I would say. Maybe because 'cause I'm depressed or something like that, so
Can somebody please create a way for adults to relive being an elementary school kid around Christmas time? Like, can we all be invited into an elementary school when all the kids have gone for break and somebody puts the Polar Express projected on the wall, and we get those little paper cups of hot chocolate and a cup full of popcorn and a little bell necklace. Can somebody do that for me?
I always liked, making ornaments. Every teacher would have their own, so you would kinda know, and sometimes it had your picture on it. One of my favorite ones was on archery is it's a little reindeer, except so on palm trees, there's, like, things that kind of are, like it's hard to describe. These things that you can pull off palm trees, and fun fact, usually snakes and rats live in there.
Oh, lovely.
So
I won't be touching those.
but if you peel it off, it's just a blank kinda gray looking thing, but we painted it brown, and you flip it upside down, it kinda looks like reindeer horns. So I have a little palm tree reindeer thing on our
It's
tree.
pretty cute.
So it's just cool things like that where you just kinda remember making it, and then it brings you back to that time when you made it.
And all of our elementary school photos are all over our tree, which is so weird to think about because we were on opposite sides of the country making those around the same time as each
Yeah,
other without any knowledge of who each other are. I don't know, it's just kinda weird to look at it that way.
yeah, and then you look at those 2 kids and, like, they make out now, so
You didn't have to make it weird.
Um, I think I talked about kind of what I was thinking of it. I mean, there's not much to talk about because I enjoy it, and the things that I don't like are so broad,
Yeah.
the way it looks, which I'm trying to reserve a
I mean,
little
there's
bit.
nothing specific that's bad about, like, the story or anything like that. It's a good story. It just
Mm.
looks bad, and the roller coaster stuff is quite overdone, but I don't know, like, I can't shit on the journeys that the kids
Yeah.
go through. Oh, we gotta talk about the annoying kid character.
I love that guy so much.
He's so funny. He's the, actually."
I love that kid so much. He has to be my favorite character just to, like, watch. And I do enjoy watching him because he is very distinct from everyone else,
Yeah,
and he's so memorable. I
yeah.
think even the characters not being named, they're still really memorable.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I don't even know what her name is because they
The
don't name
girl.
her. The girl or the leader. I think she's a good character. I like Billy. And the lead character, honestly, it kind of reminds me of this is gonna sound really strange, but you're gonna have to hear me out. It kind of reminds me of Barbie because Barbie is a very kind of blank slate character. She's more so a vehicle for the audience to be in, and
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
that's what he's
the
going.
whole slogan is, like, "Be who you wanna be, Barbie girl."
Yeah. So I think it's kind of similar to that. It's done the same way where the main character has his arc isn't expansive, but I think it's toned down because it makes it easier for the audience to follow. It's not too specific where it could lose the audience members like, well, I've never been through that before, so I don't care anymore.
I also feel like it translates well to an adult's life, like, not even just being a child and believing in Santa, but also as an adult, sometimes you just have to believe that things are going to work out
Yeah.
and, like, stop putting pressure on things to happen the way you want them to happen, just let believe that it's going to happen on its own.
Yeah. Or believing in
Obviously,
yourself too.
like, yeah, and in the right application, I'm not saying be lazy and do nothing and hope something comes to you, but, like, sometimes you have to believe that you've done everything in your power to do something and that
Mm,
the rest will just come as it's supposed to.
right. Yeah, I do like the believe message, and it's very applicable to a lot of things. And I think that kind of what I was saying with the main character. It's not a super in-depth or niche story because it's just about believing in whether it's the universe, religion, yourself, whatever you want to associate it with. But I think that's what's cool is that you can associate it with whatever you wanted, and it's different for
Yeah.
every person.
And also being a leader is so broad as well. Like, for the girl in the movie, it was about literally helping other kids on their journey, um, but it doesn't have to strictly be that because I think she realizes that part of being a leader is making sure that everybody's included, and that translates to any part of your life, just
Mhm.
looking out for the people that are left out and finding a way to help them see that their opinions matter too.
Right. You also can't forget about lean either.
Who?
Lean. Lean? What the heck does that mean?
Oh.
I can't believe you forgot about lean. But yeah, any other thoughts on the movie before we talk about your research?
No,
Nah. All right.
I don't think so.
We're done.
Episode over.
No,
See you next
no
year.
psychology.
Brain too fried for psychology, thank you. I also I wanted to before we go into the psychological topic, I wanna just, like, be a little real and vulnerable. Lately, life has just thrown shit pile after shit pile at us, honestly. Um, Earlier in the year, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I started m the journey of, um, taking medications for that in October, and we've kinda talked a little bit about this, not in reference to me, but just the general journey of taking meds for ADHD. It's brutal. It's so much worse than I ever could have expected because one of the hardest things was when I first started taking it, and as the dosage got up, I got more and more fatigued, which is a big part of why we haven't put out an episode in a while. I've come home from work, which at the same time I started this, I also started a new job. So I was getting adjusted to that and adjusting to feeling like a fucking train wreck every single day and still at a dosage where the medication wasn't helping my concentration. So I still was scatterbrained and I was falling asleep like standing up. It was really bad. So that's where we're at. And then I'm sure we've mentioned this before, but also being a Christmas episode, we'll have some people that have never seen our shit before. We live in Rhode Island. The Brown shooting situation just recently happened. So I know that was very heavy on our
Mhm.
minds, being so close to home, and also me being a therapist, helping other people through that while also still freshly processing it myself. That has weighed very
Yeah.
heavily on us.
And also just the fact end of the year, Halloween, and then you got sick, and then I got sick, and then there was Thanksgiving, and then it was my birthday, and then it was Christmas. So it's just the end of the year is always just such a busy time. So it's just a bunch of things stacked up on top of each other.
And there's the seasonal depression part as well. It's fucking cold out. It gets dark so early, so I feel like I can't do anything outdoors. I can't get out of the house to do anything because it's just miserably cold out there. It's just been a little bit of a rough time. So, yeah. So
But we
that's
are
what's
so
going
back
on.
now.
We are so back. We're gonna try our best to be more consistent. I know we've said that before, but can't control what life throws at you
That is
sometimes.
so true. Valid
And
AF.
I feel like part of the reason that it's been a hot minute is because once you've abandoned a project for a while, it's a little bit harder to get back into it because you feel like you have to explain yourself,
Yeah.
and just getting back into the swing of things. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're gonna try to be better. We have thought through some future episodes. We're definitely gonna cover Good Boy. We were gonna cover it when it was brand new, but I was cooked at that point. I
Yeah.
did not have it in me. But I have done all the research for it. We're gonna put it out at some point,
Yeah.
just
We
a
haven't
matter
made
of
it
when.
yet though.
No, we have
we
not.
we
No,
haven't
we
made
have
it.
not, but I have done all the research. So,
So
yep. With that being said, we're gonna talk about the Uncanny Valley. And I pulled this article from Simply Psychology. It's written by Ayesh Pereira, and it was updated on October 10th, 2023. So this is pretty up to date information. A lot of it is, based on older research. There's a lot of citations in here. It's been peer reviewed, blah, 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 the whole thing. Anyway, um, so what do you know about the uncanny valley? What is it in your opinion?
Um, the way I always hear people describe it is it's something that tries to look human or like something, and it just is slightly off. M For example, most AI generated images where it
Has,
has
like,
it
7 fingers on
yeah,
one
you're
hand.
looking at a human, but you can just tell that something is just off.
Yeah, whether it's a soulless look in the eyes or got a couple extra fingers,
Yeah,
whatever. But the uncanny valley, to try to put it in simpler terms, is the valley part refers to how this looks if you graph the phenomenon, if you put it on a graph. So let's say the y-axis, y-axis,
yep, that's the up.
yeah, that's what I thought, okay, and is human empathy, and the x-axis is how much something that is supposed to resemble a human does well at
Mhm,
doing such a thing, like actually looking
mhm,
human-like. So, if you graph it out, it looks like a valley. There's a dip. So, let's say over here, it's like cartoon characters. They're supposed to look like people, but obviously they have exaggerated features. They have big eyes.
big
They're
boobs.
yes, thank you. Thank you for that addition. Obviously, they're not supposed to be true to life human beings, so there are some exaggerated features like big bitties and big eyes and all that. Um, so we can empathize with them. We can relate to those characters. We feel a type of way about whatever journey they go through in the story they're a part of. So the empathy is up here. And as they get more human, but there's still something off about them, the empathy dips and it becomes a creepy feeling. Like, this is a human, but there's something really wrong about it that
Mhm,
makes it not quite a human. And then it goes back up when it's indistinguishable from a real human being.
mhm, okay. I never realized it was actually talking about a graph.
Yeah.
I just
That
thought
is the valley.
I don't know, I just figured somebody was just like, "You know what sounds cool? Something's uncanny, and I love valleys," and they just, like, slammed it together.
That's exactly how that happened. What are your thoughts on why that happens? Why do we feel that way about things that resemble humans but are just a little bit off?
I've always heard this thing. I've always found it to be complete bullshit. Where,
Oh, are you gonna say skinwalkers?
yeah, where
Ugh.
people were like, "Well, you know, when we were cavemen, we didn't know what was around, and what if there was something like that?" I don't fucking believe that. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, some
Um,
people argue that we're pre-programmed to feel that uncanny valley sensation because there are things out in the wild that are made to resemble human beings, but we're supposed to know the difference, so it feels uneasy so that we know the difference between a person and a skinwalker.
I
So
will say though, it
stupid.
is interesting that the uncanny valley is a across the board human thing. I think people have their own different levels of it, but everyone most people, I'm sure there's gonna be one fucking dweeb that's probably gonna admit,
Actually,
I've never done that before." For across the board, most people have probably had a looked at something and it's been like, "That is off, this is weird." There's some so it is kinda strange that is it across the board thing, and maybe it is some inherent defense mechanism, I don't think because of skinwalkers, but I think it's probably something where you feel like you're kinda maybe being, like, deceived. You think there's
mm.
something, like, up with it.
We're gonna get into that. There are quite a few different theories out there, some backed by science, some not so much. Skinwalkers. Um,
It's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot.
so here is the origin of the Uncanny Valley. In an article published in 1970, the Japanese professor of robotics Masahiro Mori identified this phenomenon. In his original hypothesis, Mori held that the more a robot resembles an actual human, the more empathetic and positive the emotional response of the observers becomes until the resemblance reaches a certain point. At this point, the positive and empathetic emotional response quickly turned into intense revulsion. However, as the robot's appearance continued to become even more human, the positive emotions return and the level of empathy approaches the level seen in interactions between human beings. The emotional revulsion takes place in the uncanny valley between the barely human appearance and the fully human appearance. At this stage, the robot who looks almost like a human constitutes a strange spectacle to the observer who feels a sense of uneasiness or revulsion. It must be noted that while the uncanny valley may have originated as a concept in the work of Mori, he was not the first person who discerned its existence. Following the observation of a I don't know how to say this word. It's a type of snake face. Charles Darwin wrote in his book The Voyage of the Beagle, I imagine this revulsive aspect originates from the features being placed in positions with respect to each other somewhat proportional to the human face, and thus we obtain a scale of hideousness. He said that in 1839.
Hmm, weird. So wait, so what
So,
does that have to do with the snake?
the snake's pattern made it look vaguely human, but in a way that was a little bit off. So,
Okay.
he was the first to document that kind of uneasy feeling when something looks
Okay,
human, but
gotcha.
not human enough.
Okay, I was trying to, I was so sure, like, I just, like, missed him. I was like, "Where the fuck is the snake coming to play? Why'd you mention the snake?" So, is it something with just the snake's, like, scales or
You know what?
color,
Let me
or
look up a picture of this snake.
what if the snake just looks just like me? What if it's just, like, some white boy?
Oh, I guess that picture wasn't one. I'm not really seeing the resemblance at all. The fuck was Darwin
Let me
on?
see.
Not I'm not really seeing it.
Hmm. Alright, Mr. Darwin. Whatever you say, buddy.
So I guess what Darwin was saying is that it had human-like features like a triangular nose, broad jaws, and vertical slit pupils in a coppery iris, thus creating an unsettling, uncanny effect.
Okay.
I don't know that I see that, Mr. Darwin, but go off, I guess. Whatever you
If anyone's
say.
listening to audio version of this, I am gonna put a picture on the screen of the snake so you can see what the snake looks like. So you don't have to search it up.
I don't really see it. Whatever. I mean, he wasn't wrong about uncanny, but I'm not
Seen it with the
feeling it
snake.
with the snake.
Yeah.
Where do you think Uncanny Valley was first noted in movies?
In movies. Ooh. Was it, I'm assuming it must have been pretty early in film, right?
Mm, animation.
Oh, animation.
Mhm.
Because I was gonna kind of maybe go towards like early German expressionism or something like that. Maybe there's some uncanny value in there, but if it's,
Mm,
is it animation where it comes up?
mhm.
Um, I'm gonna guess somewhere around the 90s because that's when they started doing digital animation. Am I too close or am I
You're close.
I'm gonna guess like this is gonna sound weird. I'm gonna guess like Shrek or something like that. I
Hmm.
could see somebody being because The human characters do look a little funky in that,
What if I
so
give you the year?
it's a specific movie in a specific year?
Yeah,
Yeah, give me the year.
1988.
Ooh, 1988.
It's a short animated film.
Oh, it's a short. I probably won't know that.
Pixar.
Oh, okay. Is it I think I might know what this is. What is it?
Tin Toy.
I don't know that.
The short animated film Tin Toy, produced by Pixar in 1988, seems to be the first instance of the Uncanny Valley associated with movies. Billy, the silly infant character, that's my name!
That's where he got his name from.
The silly infant character in the film, which was animated using photorealistic RenderMan software, elicited negative reactions from the audience, and I can fucking see why. That thing
Oh my
is
god.
disgusting.
Holy shit.
He is terrifying. He's got, like, pits for eyes. So, despite the success of the film, the issues associated with the animation of Billy would subsequently lead the film industry to take the uncanny effect seriously. It had that strong of an effect on the audience, and it was completely unexpected
Yeah.
that they were like, "Oh, damn, we're gonna have to actually make sure that we're not creating characters that make people feel like, ugh."
Right. Well, I think that also shows when we go to the 90s and 2000s, especially, I mean, look at early Pixar with their stuff, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, I guess even human characters with The Incredibles came out same time as Polar Express. Even though The Incredibles are human characters, they are so exaggerated. So we're like, oh, I'm watching a cartoon. It's not like
Yeah.
they're trying to make it look like the a real human
Mhm.
being. So I think Pixar probably knew that, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna try to if we
Dial it back a
dial it
bit.
back." Even I mean, think of like Andy in Toy Story. I mean, one you don't see him that much, but they his and the other characters' heads are like so big and
Yeah.
stuff. It adds that little like cartooniness to it. So I think they probably did learn from that. Like we gotta exaggerate it a little
Yeah,
bit
it has
more.
to look more like a caricature than a person.
Yeah, right, and I'm thinking even Finding Nemo, think of, the I forget what her name is, the kid with the braces,
Oh, I can't
you know what
remember
I'm
it.
talking about, though, she's,
Yeah.
like, the villain. Uh, she looks exaggerated, so they probably went like, "You know what, like, let's exaggerate a little bit," and they still probably have still held true to that, to their animation. They haven't really
Yeah.
tried to go with a, photorealistic. Even thinking like Shrek. And I think Shrek does have some uncanny valley complaints a little bit from maybe like the village people
Mm.
because they do I think try to look like real people, but um I mean I would say Princess Fiona, she looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, and the parents.
parents look decent.
They're still more cartoony, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
But I would say they're probably a little bit more realistic than like a Pixar like
Yeah.
adult is or was. I don't think they got a little bit more realistic. I'm thinking like Inside Out. I think those are still kind of
Still
somewhat I
very
think cartoony.
cartoony, yeah.
So, but anyways, I could see why that held true. And I think it's stuff like that where I'm glad it happened because that could have changed. Imagine people if they didn't complain about that. Imagine the fucked up shit we would have gotten. Imagine like Finding Nemo.
Billy times a million.
That's my name.
So, there was another Robert Zemeckis directed film that had the same criticisms. Can you take a guess what it was?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Nope.
Other Robert Zemeckis. Oh, Christmas Carol.
Mhm.
Let's go, baby.
The 2009 computer animated film directed by Robert Zemeckis was an adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. The reviewers described the movie's animation as creepy. The New York Daily News' Joe Newmeyer, I think, wrote that the animated eyes never seem to focus and that for all the photorealism, when characters get wiggly limbed and bouncy as in standard Disney cartoons, it's off-putting.
I've actually never seen that movie.
Neither have I.
And you said that's 2009?
Mhm.
That was 5 bro did not learn his lesson.
clearly. So let's get into some theories of why Uncanny Valley exists.
Skinwalkers.
So the main theories are titled The Violation of Human Norms, The Salience of Mortality, The Challenge to Human Identity, The Discord Between Perceptual Cues. So those are the main theories.
Yeah, so 4 main theories.
Yep.
Which one's the Skinwalker one?
None of the above because I like to keep my theories more based in science.
What?
Sorry.
You've never seen a Skinwalker before?
Anyway, what do you think the violation of human norms theory pertains to? What do you think that's about?
Violation of human norm
Violation of human norms.
what a, like, term to describe it. A violation of human norms. I'm trying to find a way to articulate it. It must be something where something is so off to something that it's vile. That's the only way I can think of it.
So basically, the theory is that Uncanny Valley is due to a non human entity's failure to measure up to the standards of an actual human being. When an object appears to be sufficiently non human, its human features become more salient and tend to elicit empathy. Basically, when you're looking at a cartoon, the things that make it more human are more evident to you,
Mhm,
and that allows you to feel more empathy. But when something looks almost human, then the things that are just off about it stick out more than the humanness of it.
mhm,
And so that's why you feel uneasy when something's almost human, but not something that's more cartoonish.
mm. I wonder how some video games get away with it because I mean, now they're pretty
There are
photorealistic, but
in this article, there are some criticisms to certain
oh,
video
okay.
games. Should we move on
Yeah.
to theory number two? The salience of mortality. Ooh, what does that mean?
The salience? I don't know what salience means, to be completely honest.
All right, hold on. Dictionary definition: the property by which something stands out. So I
Uh,
guess like
the property in which stands out of mortality.
the I guess like prevalence of mortality as a theme. Like mortality sticking out to you more, being reminded of that when you look at non-human, almost human things,
Okay. It sounds like you just kinda described
pretty much.
it.
Basically, the theory is that we as people have this ingrained fear of death, and it's coupled with culturally accepted mechanisms for coping with the inevitability of death. According to this theory, androids evoke our subconscious fear of replacement, reduction, or annihilation. It's pretty brutal. For instance, when androids resemble actual people, they may be construed as doppelgangers. Consequently, an observer could be affiliated with the fear of being replaced in a certain sphere of life, such as their relationship or on the job. Androids that are partially disassembled and are depicted in a state of decapitation or mutilation may evoke in the observer pictures of a battlefield in the aftermath of a conflict. They're reminiscent of human mortality.
Interesting.
And the
I'm
mechanical interior of an almost human like robot can evoke the thought that human beings too are merely soulless machines.
I'm not sure how much I buy that for the
I
Uncanny Valley. I guess for media, I don't I don't really see that for if you get Uncanny Valley for, like, watching movies.
This more makes me think of the new robots that have, like, that stretchy, creepy skin on it that make it look real.
Yeah.
That's more of the application where I can see this theory making sense.
the only movie I could really see this making sense for is Terminator
Yeah, I was kinda thinking
or,
that.
like, Alien with the android. But I think Terminator makes more sense because it's something trying to hide as a human. Uh, but, I mean, for Polar Express, I definitely don't think that applies
No.
for this. I don't look at the kids, I'm like, "I think I'm gonna die." I'm just I
Yeah.
think it's
They're
gonna look
also
weird.
not shown as decapitated or anything like that, so that I can't say the characters really remind me of human
Yeah.
mortality.
But it is interesting that if somebody were to see a like, decapitated robot, they would think of a war or a battlefield. I think that's kinda interesting, how they got that, and that must depend on somebody's perspective. I guess maybe since I have no war background, thankfully, um, I just probably don't think of that, but maybe somebody who has fought in a war or has been in the military maybe might see that as that. So maybe it's a different perspective of the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, or I guess if robots can be easily disassembled, could that also happen to us? I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm trying to make sense of that one because I don't know. I feel like if I look at a robot disassembled, and I hate to say it, but the thing my brain's going to is like the withered animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's.
And that peak,
Peak,
peak.
peak movie right there. Um, I don't know. I don't really think of it as body parts. It's
Yeah,
just
but
mechanical
that could just be like a
pieces.
perspective thing too.
And maybe they just don't look human enough, which makes sense. They're not supposed to.
Right. Well, maybe it's kinda like what I was saying earlier. It's a human thing across the board, but maybe people get the uncanny valley for different reasons, and maybe the
Yeah.
different theories align with different people.
Well, it also has to do with your perspective on what makes a human human.
Right,
Like, what features are you looking at? Stuff like that.
right, and I think, the eyes are a big thing 'cause they do say that the gateway to the soul, wherever the fuck it is, I don't know.
The window to the
Window to the
soul.
soul. But I mean, that is kinda true. I mean, not like the window to the soul. I mean, usually you can tell when something has more life to it or not, just kinda based off someone's eyes.
Yeah. Like, when someone's dying, you can kinda see it in their eyes.
Yeah. So I can kinda see the eyes thing. I think that's a big part of it. Probably for me too. We'll get to on some of those Polar Express characters.
Um, I think I skipped over this theory when I was listing them, but the avoidance of pathogens,
I
like sickness.
so people get the uncanny valley because the other thing can't get sick?
No. It's more so that if something is off about something human-like, it must mean that it's sick, and so it activates this innate avoidance
Because you don't wanna get
because
sick?
you don't wanna get sick. It's like a protective
Interesting.
thing. Yeah. So it says, "This theory holds that the uncanny valley might be activating the cognitive mechanism which had originally evolved to help humans avoid sources of pathogens. Robots and androids in the uncanny valley may resemble human organisms with defects. Since the presence of defects implies disease, a feeling of aversion may be introduced with the observers. Robots and androids, for these reasons, can engender the feelings of revulsion or alarm that diseased humans and dead corpses provide." Never heard of an alive corpse, so it's a bit redundant.
A live corpse?
I would say that this is probably one of the theories I'm more willing to subscribe to because I think this also pertains to why people feel weird about people that have defects, like birth
Mm,
defects, why you might be off put looking at
yeah.
somebody with like burns or some kind of defect, like a cleft palate or something like that, why people might feel revulsed by that as bad as that sounds.
Right, no, I get what you mean. I mean, that's part of kinda ableism in a way. People may just wanna completely avoid somebody with, like we mentioned, a disability or burn marks or something because they just don't either it's not human or they don't wanna get it, right? Like, it invokes that feeling of
Mhm.
them not wanting to get it. Obviously, they can't get secondhand burn marks, but
Yeah.
they is I know what you mean. It's something that it's an inherent thing to avoid, I guess.
Well, some of it is this innate biological drive to reproduce with, um, partners that are more likely to create strong offspring,
Mhm.
and when we see somebody with something a little off, that avoidance kicks in because 'cause we're like, "These aren't going to create the strongest children that are
Right.
most likely to survive," and
To clarify, we don't believe that.
no,
We're sa
this is a conversation about biological drives.
yeah. The
It
maybe explaining why
just
people
like
do something.
as you would see in animals, like, the animals that are more flashy are more likely to attract mates, like peacocks fanning their feathers, they're more likely to attract mates because they're seen as, like, big and tough, and the woman peacocks, I guess, are like, "Oh, that's my strong man, he can create strong babies with me." It's just a biological conversation.
Mhm, right. Yeah, but and to clarify, we don't believe that.
Yeah, this isn't
So
like a disabled people should never have partners
yeah, no.
conversation. Let me say I would make the most defective children on earth. That's the case.
And with me, they'd be colorblind.
Yeah, yeah. We would have colorblind children with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and ADHD and all kinds of wonderful
And they
things.
might get a film degree too, that's even
That would be the
scarier.
worst. That would probably cost more than all their medical bills.
All the medical bills and a film degree on top of that, they're
Oh,
cooked.
man. Shout out to all my fellow people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome out there
Shout out to all my film degree people.
and colorblind people.
Colorblind people.
I see you, just not in color. Shall we move on to the next theory?
Sure.
So the next one is the challenge to human identity. Research shows that an increasingly anthropomorphic appearance can enhance a perceived threat to human identity and distinctiveness. The perceived threat to human uniqueness could be construed as a push to redefine humanness. This attempt to blur the categorical distinction between human and non humans may elicit negative reactions and feelings of unease.
This just kind of makes me think of AI.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it
kinda how I took it. I'm not sure if it's meant to be taken that way, but that's how I took it. Like, soon you won't know what's me and what's, like, a deep fake.
yeah, and even just the thought of AI being self-thinking.
Mm.
Because I know I'm not sure how true it is or not, but there are some AIs have been fed that they have had a life and they do think that they are human, and then they get existential when people tell them they're not real. I don't know if those are just like clickbait things or not. I'm not on the internet anymore, so
Or maybe
that's
those
great.
articles are AI
Yeah, maybe
generated.
those articles are AI generated, but I mean AI as it stands right now just seems to be just a collection of a bunch of
Slop.
slop and stolen things or data collection. Um, I think we've obviously it goes without saying that we think AI for art is fucking stupid, and should not be a thing.
Yeah.
But I think AI for like collecting data and analyzing data, I think that is really useful and
I
it does
think
save a
it's
lot of
had
time.
incredible applications to cancer research.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think AI for data collection has been really good. And I cannot deny that. But I think when people go on fucking like Sora and generate some bullshit,
Or
it's like,
use Chat GPT as a replacement for doing peer-reviewed research.
yeah. If you search up everything on ChatGPT, let me tell you, you can actually get the same information on like Bing. And you would probably have it be correct actually
And
too.
Google, but not Google AI.
Right. Oh god, I wish you could turn off Google
Which
AI.
sources Reddit, let me tell you. They source Reddit,
Well, I mean, everyone is right on Reddit. Who's ever's told a lie on Reddit or been
peer-reviewed.
wrong.
Peer-reviewed resource
They're
right
peer
there.
reviewed by Karma.
Yeah. They go by, amount of upvotes.
Yeah,
Go by
exactly.
ratio.
This one had 3,000 upvotes,
It
so it
must be
must be
right.
right. Honestly, sometimes in some of those subreddits, the most downvoted ones are probably the most true, depending
Mhm.
on the subreddit, because sometimes it might
Well,
just be the
yeah, if you
hardest
go
swallow
on, like,
pill.
an incel subreddit and you're like, "You guys are a bunch of losers, you're gonna get hella downvotes," but you're not wrong.
But yeah, what you're saying, I think that kinda just makes me think of AI.
Yeah. Another theory is the discord between perceptual cues. I didn't really know going into this one what that exactly means. Might be better if I just explain it and then we talk about it after.
Perceptual cues?
Perceptual
Makes
cues.
me kinda think of, like, social norms.
Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, I'm not smart enough.
So this theory says that the visual stimuli of the uncanny valley activate contradictory cognitive representations. For instance, a human like figure's possession of robotic features may induce perceptual tension, whereby an observer would receive contradictory cues concerning category membership. Like, can I call this a human or can I call this a robot? Not being able to tell the difference between the two creates this cognitive tension that makes you feel
Mhm.
uneasy. That's basically what this is saying. And they compare it to the psychological discomfort of cognitive dissonance, which do you know what cognitive dissonance is?
I've heard of the term, but remind me.
It's, the tension that you have when you hold contradictory values or beliefs, like, let's say, I care a lot about my health. Health is really important to me. And I'm also ripping hella cigs at the same time. I might feel like I need to justify that in some way,
Uh-huh.
and I feel this tension of like, "Ew, I'm saying that my health is really important to me, but at the same time, I'm ripping cigs and now I have lung cancer."
Right. Okay. So it's basically just doing the opposite of what you're thinking?
Kind of. It's holding contradictory values and the tension that creates.
Oh, okay.
Let's say you affiliate with, some group that puts out a very against your values statement. It's like, "Oh, well, I affiliate with this group. I'm a part of this group, but they also said this really fucked up thing.
Mhm.
Ugh, I don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about that because now it's like, do I leave the group because I have other values that align or do
Yeah.
I just ignore that they completely contradicted my values?"
Okay, gotcha.
And that can lead to people getting really defensive
Right.
and trying to find justification for doing things that are really shitty.
Yeah. Okay. So how does this tie back into
So
Uncanny?
basically, it's the same kind of cognitive tension because we inherently try to categorize things that we see into
Mhm.
buckets to make it easier for us to label things because when we can put a label on things then we feel more in control and better able to understand them. So not being able to easily say this is human, this is non-human is like a kind of
Mhm.
feeling.
Okay, gotcha. I see.
So research suggests that the deeper a robot's face is in the uncanny valley, the longer an observer takes to gauge whether the face is actually human or not, and therefore the greater cognitive challenge in the observer encounters the greater cognitive challenge the observer encounters in categorizing the visual stimulus. Basically, the harder you have to think about whether something is human or non human, the more off putting it is
Mhm.
because it's like confusing your brain and you have to think about what makes it
Yeah.
not
Which you
human.
shouldn't have to think about.
Exactly. So, when you have to think about it too much, that makes you less likely to empathize with or enjoy looking at whatever it is.
I feel like this is the one that probably applies most to the movie compared to
I
all
would
the other
say
ones.
so. Yeah. So that's all I have for theories. Those are all the different ones that this article talks about. So do you want to talk either about how the theories apply to the movie or some research that back the concept of Uncanny Valley or some, pushback that the theory's gotten.
I'm curious to see some of the pushback. Curious to see if there's any skinwalker theories in there that
So, I didn't realize this going in, but Uncanny Valley is actually kind of a controversial theory.
Interesting. Why?
So, there have been some arguments that your cultural background can significantly influence the perception of an android and therefore dynamics in the valley in a particular situation. So the things that you're exposed to and your background heavily influence what gives you that kind of feeling. Like you said, everyone has different things that would trigger that feeling.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't feel the feeling towards Polar Express because I grew up with that movie.
Right.
I was exposed to that at a very young age. So I'm like,
Whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
Right. Well, I think also I don't think that should be a complete con on whether the uncanny valley, like, is that what they're saying, that whether the uncanny valley exists, or they're just criticizing that it's like,
Just criticizing like, the scientific belief of it, I guess.
well, I think
This
that's
says
kind
several
of
objections have been raised that challenge the scientific semblance of the uncanny valley theory.
but I mean, I don't think that really matters.
I don't think it's so much like, here's some things that affect this, so that means it doesn't exist. Mm, I feel like you should take that more as we need to take these things into consideration
Right.
rather than this means this doesn't exist. I don't know what they're trying to argue
Yeah,
here.
that's what I'm confused about. Because I mean, you can't I don't think you can really argue whether this exists or not, just because one, it is kind of a personal thing, and I do get what they're saying with everyone has their own cultural background, and that makes sense because not everyone's gonna have the same uncanny valley feeling. I mean, like you mentioned, you with Polar Express, you don't get that. I don't really get it either. There's some portions where I do get it, and I'll kind of touch on that. But for the most part, like when I look at the main characters, I'm not like, woo.
Yeah. Let's also consider like an alternate universe where babies are raised by uncanny looking robots. They might find more comfort in their faces than in human faces because they associate them with nurturing.
Yeah, and they may associate humans with uncanny.
Exactly. So it's all relative, really.
Yeah,
What feels abnormal to you is what elicits that response, I guess.
yeah. No, I see where you're coming from. Um, but yeah, I don't really get what their criticism is. That's that's the
Yeah, I
issue. I
don't
don't get
know.
it.
And another thing that they're talking about is the same thing that I just said. The more that you're exposed to a certain thing, the less off-putting it is. And the less you feel hold on, I'm just gonna read this
Okay.
straight out. So this says that the negative emotional reactions that certain visual stimuli elicit could be attributed to the frequency of exposure. Research suggests that altering the frequency of practicing items shows a dissociation between the uncertainty related to category boundaries and the uncertainty based on the frequency of the exemplars. To sum that up, it's like the more you see things that are a little bit off from being human, the more comfortable you get with saying, "Oh, okay, that's not real. This is real. That's not
Yeah.
real. This is real." The more easily you can categorize those things, the less off-putting they are to look at.
Right. Well, I think this goes back to what you were saying. If a baby is grown up by an android that looks slightly off to them, they're gonna get more used to it.
Mhm.
They will know the difference as they get older. So I
And
think it
younger
sounds like that.
generations are more exposed to AI, so what's off-putting to us may just be normal to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You wanna hear about some research done on Uncanny Valley?
Sure. I'm curious.
It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. So there was a lot. in this article. If you wanna look into it, you can, but I thought the most interesting one was a study that was conducted on monkeys in 2009, and they used monkeys to evaluate the evolutionary mechanism that causes the negative reactions in Uncanny Valley. So, 5 monkeys were given 3 pictures. One was a realistic 3D monkey face, one was an unrealistic 3D monkey face, and one was a real photo of a monkey. The eye gaze of each monkey, like how long they looked at each thing, was measured, and it was gauged as, like, aversion or preference
Mhm.
for each picture. And the monkeys looked less at the 3D realistic picture than either the unrealistic 3D picture or the real photo, which was interpreted as a negative emotional reaction towards the realistic 3D picture because they had to think harder about it. They
Mm.
looked longer at it, um, or they looked less at it because it was like, "Ugh,
Oh,
let me
yeah.
get away from this." And they went more towards either the the real photo or the unrealistic 3D model because
Mhm.
those were one was familiar, one was, "Okay, that has nothing to do with
Right.
me." The other one was, like, cognitively confusing for them,
So they
so
were just like, "I'm not gonna look
yeah,
at
they're like, "I'm
it."
not gonna look at that."
That's interesting. I'm assuming there's probably been some studies on humans too, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a study on humans, as it pertains to video game characters and how people felt towards those characters. I'm not gonna get into that 'cause there's just there's so many studies in here, but if you're interested, do read the article, it is really fascinating.
Right. But yeah, with the Polar Express for me, it's gotta be most of the background characters that are the problem.
Yeah, because I feel like there was less work that went into their animation, so their movements are less fluid,
Yeah.
their features are less human-like,
I'm just even
like,
thinking
their
about the hot chocolate
eyes.
dancers.
Yeah.
They do not blink.
No, they don't.
They're so stiff and they have no facial expression and then they don't blink. Those are is definitely that part of the movie is definitely the biggest part where I'm like, this there's something off about this. This does not look good.
And when they're doing flips, there's
Yes.
just there's something about their motion where you're like, "That's not a
It
person."
feels like somebody's trying to be a person,
Yeah.
but it feels so robotic where you're just
Yeah.
like ah no.
When you see the kids in the background, you can notice, like, they're not blinking, their eyes are really creepy, like, they
Yeah.
don't reflect the light, they're soulless
Yeah.
looking, kinda terrifying.
And that's why the main characters look okay because there is a lot of time put into them and I don't have an issue with them.
Yeah.
But it's when you look in the background,
Well, I
that's where
think
issues start to
also
come
who
up.
attaches nostalgic value to the background characters that you don't pay attention to.
Yeah, probably no
So there's
kid.
also that as well.
Yeah, because kids don't really pay attention to what's going on in the background
Mhm.
usually, so, um, but when you're a grown up watching it, that's when you start to pick up on some of those things.
Yeah, you look at some of the kids in the background, they're like,
"Hot, hot. Oh, we got
"We got
it."
it."
But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what other people think, if what their uncanny thoughts are, if even, for the Polar Express, if there are any.
Yeah, what's the number 1 trigger for everyone that creates that uncanny uneasiness feeling in you? I'm curious because, that article was talking about how it can apply to so many things like mannequins, dolls,
I always get freaked out about mannequins.
animation.
Mannequins are a little weird. I just think it's because 'cause they're gonna jump out at me, that's my
Yeah.
issue.
Well, I think another thing with that is people have done pranks where they pretend that they're mannequins or statues. Like you think about the street
Yeah.
performers that paint themselves to look like a statue and they stand really freakishly still.
Mhm.
You
Yeah, I
look
think
at that
that's
and you're like,
think that's where
"Mm."
my fear of mannequins come in, those people that dress up as them. Before I wouldn't have an issue, but now I'm worried that mannequin's just gonna jump out at me or something like that. I did get scared once as a kid though, because there was a person dressed up as a mummy in a coffin that was like standing up, and I obviously thought it was a mannequin, but then it was a person who jumped out and scared me, and I was like fucking 10.
And that
So
also is like, that's a life experience that shapes what makes you feel uneasy
yeah.
towards different things, so tell us what triggers that feeling within you and if there was something that stems from, or if it's just this innate feeling and there was no incident associated with it. I'm very curious.
What's your thought on wax people? Wax characters?
Ooh, like those, wax figure museums of,
Yeah.
like, celebrities.
Yeah.
I think some of them are so well done that I believe they're real people, so those don't freak me out, but then some of them are like, "Oh, there's something wrong with you," like, their nose is a little disproportionate to their face, or there's something off about their proportions.
Yeah.
Those ones are fucking creepy.
Yeah. I think they kind of freak me out a little bit. And I think it's just in the bad ones because they're just slightly off.
Yeah.
The feature's slightly off or something along those
But the
lines.
really realistic ones, I'm like,
Yeah, you would
I
think
don't
it's a real
know.
person.
Yeah, I would think that's a real person. I think maybe it would freak me out if I stood there and looked at it in person for a long time and realized that there's nothing looking back at me. The eyes are soulless
Yeah,
and it's not gonna move. That might make me feel more freaked out, but I've only ever seen pictures of them.
and then it starts moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anything else that you can think of in terms of Polar Express or anything that gives you some Uncanny Valley or
You're funny enough, that, Pixar animation made me think back to this baby doll I had as a kid, and it looked very human-like. It had
Mhm.
very human eyes and human features about it, but there was something off about its fucking little face, its little beady eyes that just made it icky to me, and I think I've told you this story before. My brother and I, because I was so icked out by it, I in my head, I made the baby like a villain character, and that was an evil scientist. Anytime I played with that baby doll, its role was being an evil scientist because it freaked me the fuck out.
Mhm.
When I played with baby dolls that didn't make me feel that way, I was, like, feeding them, changing them, the
Yeah.
whole thing. But that fucking doll, I named that fucking little evil entity Doctor Kebble. I don't know where that came from. I don't even know how old I was at that point. Probably, like, 6.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was an evil scientist because it made me feel a type of way when I looked at it. I really hope that my mom kept it. I gotta find that. I gotta ask her about it because 'cause I've been thinking about that stupid fucking doll a lot lately.
Well, and then we'll give it to one of the pets.
Oh god.
But yeah, anything else you want to add or anything or
I mean, not really. The movie has so much nostalgia value for me. I can see the criticisms of it. I'm not gonna act like it's some flawless movie. Um,
peak
Peak to me.
peak music?
The fucking score is incredible.
I think the score carries this movie so
It
much.
really does.
I think this movie would not be very
Maybe
good if it was
that's why I don't care so much about the overuse of the roller coaster scenes because the music in them is so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, the music hard carries. There's, no doubt about music, absolutely hard carries.
So good. I would like to watch it every single year just because it puts me in the mindset of being a child. So, it doesn't give me that uncanny
Mhm.
feeling. I've seen it so many times.
I mean, I think it's a pretty solid Christmas movie. The if you believe in Christmas or you celebrate Christmas, believe in
I mean,
Christmas, you celebrate
even if you
Christmas.
don't, it's just a journey
No.
that kids take,
I just
and
don't think you would
they
get
learn a
nearly
lot.
connected to it as much
Yeah,
seeing Santa Claus and the sleigh
that's
bells
true.
ring and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's attached to Christmas where I'm sure somebody will
I
watch it
think
and
if
won't
you
be
replace
attached.
Santa with something else,
Just some fat guy.
just some fat guy. Do you believe in some fat guy? A bunch of little people?
He's kinda jacked in this movie.
He is kinda jacked, I'm
He's
not
got a
even
little
gonna
bit he's got
lie.
a little belly, but, like, he was bulking. He's yoked.
Yoked Santa.
But yeah, if that is everything, then I guess we'll wrap it up here.
That's all I
Uh,
got.
but thank you for, listening this far. If you did, thank you. Um,
Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy
happy
Kwanzaa,
happy holidays,
happy
whatever you
whatever the
spell or
whatever y
celebrate, whatever you spell, whatever you celebrate.
Happy
Uh,
New Year,
Happy New Year. If you don't celebrate anything, enjoy a couple days off work. If you do, have some relaxing time.
hot chocolate.
Have some hot chocolate.
There's no religious ties to hot chocolate,
Yeah,
baby.
we're eating like a fat ass like I've been eating Chex Mix and shit.
Mm,
Uh,
have some good food.
yeah, have some good food. Uh, but yeah, thank you all
Enjoy your family if you can.
if you can. That's why I said enjoy doing whatever you're doing. So, um, but yeah, thank you so much. We'll be back next year, hopefully, unless something happens. But then it should be fine. But yeah, thank you so much.
Bye.
The
We love you.
best time of the year.